I don't think we as a society, as a world, I don't think nobody taught us how to be alone. I think we're afraid to be alone, right? So then when something like this comes, which is basically it's a pandemic of isolation, right? So when something like this comes along, you're forced to be with yourself. Now, in the era of checking the cell phones all the time and being distracting and you know, it's almost like the whole environment is against self-reflection or quietness.
This is a generation that actually saw for the first time in their life someone being murdered, killed on television. That impact is not going away. It almost reminds me of my dad, who was from the South, who actually witnessed a lynching that stayed with him the rest of his life. He was 7 years old actually, and you don't lose that stuff. You learn how to deal with it.
I'll tell you frankly, there's certain days I'm happy to be masked, so I can just move in and out.
It's hard not to like harbor any ill will towards people who don't understand that side of the equation. You know, some people will think it's maybe, oh yeah, no, it's not that big of a deal. You know, I know people who've had it and they've been fine. And then you get the stories from some of the, you know, healthcare workers like my husband that are, you know, really gruesome and really tragic and horrible. People dying, you know, in pain and alone. And it's like not a pleasant, it's horrible.
I remember when I was a kid, the night I was sitting with my parents and John F. Kennedy was shot. I remember that when I was a little girl. And I remember seeing the fear on my parents' face, and I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew that something bad was happening, and I was scared. And I remember that to this day. I'm 62 years old. I'm almost 63. And I remember that to this day. It was just, you can feel the fear in the air. And I think that's what it was for the kids. They knew we were scared. They knew all of a sudden it was like, shut down, call your parents, let's go.
Going into 2020 in general, I had a grandma that unfortunately passed away, so it was a hard time for me to come in. And it was just a really hard time for me to adjust in general.
I'm telling you, 2020 sucked.
I had waited forever to live alone again. I've had two husbands and 3 children. And the last time I lived alone was like 1969. And so I was great with this. So I could write when I wanted. I could paint when I wanted. It's a very small town. I live off of a dirt road. I can go outside, nature, I can walk. I did not have some of the problems that some people did.
That's the irony of America. We rely on children to raise us. That's our mistake. We had no legendary fathers. You know, we had no legendary mothers. We arrived on boats and it was the sick kids that survived. And those were the ones that became our forefathers and became America. Like, think about that. We were raised by teenage kids and we still act like it. So, for me, if there's no justice with the George Floyd case, there's no justice, period.
All our siblings were all taken care of that way, so...
and also,
you know, trying not to
So when I look at Black Lives Matter, that one day, hopefully my time, I will see
forever,
when
I forget
people
myself sometimes.
respect, cultures respect us as who we are as people.
When we're driving in a car, you know, you see the sirens, pull over and follow directions. Do what you're told. Don't give anybody a reason to think you're a threat.
If you believe something like, I don't know, not destiny, but something is bigger than us. It's happened for the reason. hope that reason will change the world. You know? For a better place.